All right, we're good.
All right, welcome to the regular city council meeting here on 21st day, July 2020 at 6:10 p.m. We will now open up in regular session. We will have to have a little bit of a disclaimer here right at the first. So for citizen participation, both for regular council business and our consent agenda business, please specify if you call in, if directed to non-agenda or agenda items. You will have to utilize the webinar feature if joining by audio telephone to raise your hand during this time to ask a question or to present something. Press *9. Okay. We've already did the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiances at the first meeting at the budget workshop, so we'll forego though at this time those, and we will give 30 seconds here to see if anyone raises their hand to participate in the meeting or make a comment or something.
Can I add something to that, Mayor?
You can.
The agenda that was sent out had the wrong ID number on it.
Okay.
It has recently been posted on the website, so anybody that's wanting to participate needs to go to the website and pull that ID off.
Okay. 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 We'll wait just probably a minute or so.
Letty, any other participants logged on?
No.
Okay.
Mayor, no one else is logged on, so
We're still clear? Letty, we still clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, this time then we'll move forward. It's time now for the consent agenda. All consent agenda items are considered to be routine in nature and may be acted upon in one motion. Any item requiring additional discussion may be withdrawn from the consent agenda by the mayor, a council member, or city manager and acted upon separately. Okay, I'm going to strike item number 4 from the consent agenda at this time. We will not be discussing that. It may be brought up at a later date by Headco, so we're going to strike it. So let's, everybody want to look at the consent agenda, and we'll make a motion to approve.
Make a motion, we approve minus item 4.
Okay,
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Any opposed, like sign? All right, consent agenda stands approved. We'll move now to council business, regular session. Item number 7 is to consider and possible action upon scheduling 2 public hearings on the proposed budget for fiscal year 2020-2021 to be held on August 18, 2020 at 6 p.m. during a regular meeting, and on August 25, 2020 at 5 p.m. during a special meeting. JD, you want to elaborate?
These are just the dates. Go ahead, Cheryl. Anything
We
specific?
just got to have 2 public hearings for both the budget and the tax rate, so we're wanting to go ahead and we have to get these scheduled so we can post them. Okay.
Is this for 7 and 8? We're
We're
voting
doing
on
both.
We're only doing the 8 first.
Set that.
First.
I mean 7. Excuse me.
Make a motion to approve 7.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Item number 7 stands approved. Item number 8 is consideration and possible action upon scheduling 2 public hearings on the 2020 tax rate to be held on August 18, 2020 at 6 p.m. during a regular meeting, and on August 25, 2020 at 5 p.m. during a special meeting. This is in as much the same. Of course, this is the tax rate. So do I hear a motion?
Motion that we set the public hearings for the 2020 tax rate.
Second. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Motion 8 stands approved. Item number 9 on the agenda is consideration and possible action upon amending HEDCO bylaws. Mr. Clary, would you like to elaborate on that?
Sure. This started out as with the objective of adding language to allow BTH Bank to serve in the rotation on our board as treasurer. As y'all know, since the HEDCO was set up and the process was set up to allow the 3 banks to rotate on our board in the treasurer's position. And then BTH Bank was not in that rotation, but after I came here a couple years ago, they asked if they could get in it. And we told them that they could get in after Texas Bank, which is the 3rd bank on the rotation. And so they sent a letter a couple, 2 or 3 months ago requesting that. And so this language, the first item, section 3.03 is language to change the bylaws to allow that. In the process, we also changed Citizens National Bank to Vera Bank, and some other language to allow the new bank. We also added some small language. We had a misspell or typo in 3.06, 5.03. We just added a notation that decision or recommendation by any committee or subcommittee is subject to approval by a quorum of the full board. So they can't act unilaterally. We couldn't figure out why the last meeting of the year was designated as our annual meeting, because there's nothing special that happens at the last meeting. And the board members, the officers for each year are chosen at the first meeting of the year. So we decided to switch that to the first meeting instead of the last meeting. Essentially, that means instead of October, it's now November, or excuse me, September, it's now October. And then the last section of 10.01, our bylaws have always required 2 readings at 2 separate meetings. And so what we did is we changed it to require a supermajority to change the bylaws, but that allow them to be changed at 1 meeting of the EDC board, and they still have to go to the city council for approval. And so that's what that last section is about. And so anyway, pretty straightforward, and guess that's it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clary. Do I hear a motion to approve item number 9?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Item number 9 stands approved at this time. Now move to item number 10 on the agenda. That's consideration and possible action upon amending the Main Street bylaws. Cheryl, I think you might have something on this.
Well, I'd like for Laura to present that. If she
Okay,
will,
great,
just showing you the changes that's going to be made to the bylaws for Main Street. She's our new Main Street coordinator.
Ta-da. Yeah,
Thanks, guys. As you can see in the article in A, we are asking the advisory board members to be moved from 13 to 7. Due to having so many people, it's hard to get a quorum. You have 9 for the 13 members, so we'd like to lower that. It's a little easier to have 7 members and have a quorum of 4. And on Article B, the president residing has really not in the past prepared the agenda. They've made suggestions and assisted, so we'd like to officially just change that wording, just one word where it's assists instead of prepares the agenda for the monthly board meeting. Any questions?
Okay. We need a motion to approve that, please.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Item number 10 stands approved. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Item number 11 is to open open the second public hearing on a petition for Headco to annex property into the city limits known as lots 2 and 3 of block 1050 Southwest Industrial Park, located on Frisco Street.
And that's exactly the same as it was last time. There hasn't anything changed on that, so.
Okay,
We move to open the public hearing, or is it just open now?
it's open now. It's open. Okay,
Hold on one second, make sure nobody else.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else on first?
I don't see.
you
Nobody's
hadn't
on.
seen anybody? Okay.
Nobody's on there.
All right,
So
good.
unless somebody in the room has something to say, then you can read number 12 and close it.
That's exactly right. Okay, so item number 12 is to close the second public hearing on a petition for Headco to annex property into the city limits known as lots 2 and 3 of block 1050 Southwest Industrial Park, located on Frisco Street. I need a motion to close that hearing.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say, raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. No opposed. All right. Public hearing stands closed at this time on item number 12. Item number 13 is consideration and possible action on the first reading of an ordinance 2020-07-44 for Headco to annex property into the city limits known as lots 2 and 3 of block 1050 Southwest Industrial Park, located on Frisco Street.
And this is just gonna be the details that I will have to send out to move our city limit boundaries over on that side. So it has to be done by ordinance and plat. So we've got that together and we'll take 2 readings on that.
Okay. So I need a motion to approve that consideration.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All right. All opposed, like sign. Item number 13 stands approved at this time. Item number 14 is consideration and possible action upon the first reading of a stop sign ordinance number 2020-07-45. This is quite extensive, but it's really not, but Jay's gonna explain it just a little bit. Do what?
Okay. So stop signs, there's a lot of places in town, residential areas, some other areas in commercial that, don't have signage. Maybe some of them might be missing signage, some of them don't have signage, whether it's stop signs, yield signs, something like that. There's been a lot of questions on some of those. And just to clarify some of that, I think we just, we want to go through and address those intersections. About talking with Mr. Shoemate and Cheryl, we decided, ultimately it needs to be done by ordinance if we're going to add any intersection stop signs or yield signs or whatever. So we need to be able to for sure label those intersections. And so Chief Taylor and I went around and spent a day in the truck and drove around town and listed a whole bunch of different intersections that are missing possible signs. And then he came back and gave that to Lieutenant Bammel. And he went back and looked at all those intersections as well, and then came back, and hopefully each one of you have a hard copy in front of you somewhere of Lieutenant Bammel's report and request on each one of those intersections that we talked about. And then that was given to Mr. Shoemate in his office, and they put together the ordinance that lists all of these said intersections and the different signage. So there's several yield signs, stop signs that you can see that are listed on the report and in the ordinance. And then once this is approved, assuming the council approves, then 10 days after that, I believe. Now, do we need to do just one reading, or do we need to do
This is set up for 2 readings. I don't think we need one. Since it's set up for 2, let's
we'll
do
go back and do another reading next month?
Okay.
And then once we officially have that approved the next month, then 10 days after that, I believe, is when it officially becomes law, and then Davis and his group get to start putting up some more signs. See, Chad just gives it right back to you. See how that works?
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve this?
I got a question first.
Okay, go right ahead, go right ahead.
It says yield sign on Sladen at Briarwood. Sladen dead ends into Briarwood, and right now there's stop sign on all three. So you're proposing to replace I'm not supposed to talk to you, you're gonna replace the stop sign on Sladen with a yield sign.
Don't know. We'll have to ask.
Well, I mean, that's what it says.
No, actually, we put all these together and we asked Lieutenant Bam to go out and actually look at it and return a report to us what he called the best fit at that intersection, because he is probably our professional here when it comes to traffic control. And that is what he is suggesting should be there.
Okay. I guess my question would be, should we talk to any of the immediate folks around there and see what they feel like? I mean, if there's nothing there, I understand, but we've got a stop sign.
I'm
I just hate to
assuming
replace it, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna get 5, 6 phone calls
if
saying,
you'd like us to go look at that again, we will.
That would open Briarwood up to not have to stop.
well, it's still stopping on Briarwood.
Would it not be Sladen yielding to Briarwood?
So you're gonna take the stop signs
Oh.
off of Briarwood?
I'm not sure. It sounds like it.
Well, actually, I don't recall there being a stop sign there, so it's something we'll need
It's
to
a
look
three-way
at.
stop.
There may be, the signs are some weird
Yeah.
places
it's
that
real.
are really weird.
Well, we also
intersections.
discovered that there were several
That is
signs
true.
we could not see that were covered up and some
Yeah,
other things.
yeah.
But if there's an issue
I don't
with that
remember
one,
what's
then
there.
we'll go check it out.
Kind of a weird
I'm not saying there's an issue, I'm just saying we've got something there and you're proposing to change it. I didn't know if protocol might be to visit with somebody that actually lives down at that end of the street.
Residents are always gonna say, put a stop sign up. I was one, and I said that when we get to that, most of these, all I said, they need to have stop signs. But, you know, I think, the yield sign comes into play, on a lot of the residential areas. Generally, we were trying to address spots that didn't have signage. And so we probably need to go back and look at this one, to be honest with you.
I'd like to go double check that.
Yeah, we probably need to go back and look at that one. I mean, I may walk down there tonight and check it out. Yes, sir.
Just to say, because we'll try to go ahead and pass it and review that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
That's exactly, that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do, and then we'll just do a review on it.
Yeah, so we'll review it between now and next time, so we'll note that.
And one other question I had, at the top of page 2, it says stop signs on all streets entering onto West Main. Is there any reason why we couldn't add in South Main? Because I know there's more than one coming into South Main didn't have anything.
Really, any of them, those thoroughfares, that, Evenside, Webster.
I mean, I went down South Main and I know West Elk did not and Stone Street did not.
Are those streets that are currently here, or one of those streets is currently being worked on, it? Because could they have possibly removed the sign?
No, it's never
Shouldn't
been there.
have, yeah, shouldn't have.
I asked 2 or 3 years ago for some kind of sign to be put up there and it was never put up.
I don't see why we couldn't do that, because the idea was to actually cover all streets and make sure that all our intersections were covered.
At that particular intersection, there's lots of really pretty crepe myrtles or rose bushes or something. And if you put something there, it's gonna interfere with what growth is there. And that was another question I had was, what about shrubs and trees blocking existing signs and the new ones that we
I
put up?
believe that Joe can help me on this, but I believe that we have a right to go in if it's a
We,
public
we
safety issue.
we have a right to trim any foliage or shrubbery or whatever's out there to make it a clear sign to view when you're approaching it. So we have the right to do that. As far, can I talk for a minute?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
As far as you're concerned about the streets opening up on South Main Street, if you want to amend, make an oral amendment to this, we can pass it as it is, bring it back in a month after Mr. Bammel and whoever else needs to review that. And if there's some amendments we need to make, we can make it between now and then.
Right.
There's not a problem with that at all, so.
And there may be more than that. It could be quite a few, because this list is probably not a complete list. It's a pretty good list.
We took what you're looking at and culled out the ones that said no signage needed or no changes needed, and only put the list in of what needed to be added or supplemented or amended. So there's a lot that's on what you're looking at. It's not on the ordinance. The ordinance is only those items that were pointed out to us.
Right.
After the review of the folks you've heard from, we thought we needed some more signage or some changes. But go ahead and make the motion if you will, and then add the intersections or the intersecting streets on South Main, or north, south, east, and west Main if you want to. Between now and the next meeting, we'll review all that, make sure it gets in the completed and perfected final ordinance that'll be before you next month. So that'll save us a few weeks, which I think is important.
Yeah, it is important. You have some accidents.
Sure.
There's a lot of intersections in town, and like I said, Chad and I spent a day doing that, but obviously, we're not gonna drive all, how many
Every
miles of streets?
70.
70 miles of streets that we have. So this will be kind of a living document. I got a feeling that we'll be adding and amending to this over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a good starting point that we spent on it, and man, we did a good job of that. But we'll address any of these. So if they're you know proven, we'll go back and address. We have some time before we're going to be trying to put signs up and stuff anyway. So
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I think this is a fabulous start. I would just add the main streets, your even side, Sladen running across, Webster, Fort Hall.
yeah, this list kind of get the this list kind of get the hot spots, the ones that we've been getting calls on.
Yeah, these are major.
Those are the ones that we're getting contacts on, and so that's where we started there, and then but yeah, this is definitely not exhausted. There's plenty out there.
Okay, so we'll start all over. Item number 14. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve.
All right. Second? Second? Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Okay, item number 14 stands approved with amendments to it in the future, probably to be voted on at the next meeting, which would be in August. Okay? All right, item number 15, consideration and possible action upon authorization of purchasing 2 police department vehicles.
We're wanting the council to look at this and take action on us passing or getting 2 vehicles this year in lieu of purchasing them next year. When we do this, this will give us a savings of 10 to 12,000 next year. We're just purchasing them early is all we're doing, and which will be pulled off out of our budget for the following year. We'll be able to, they're going to be 2020 models instead of 2021. The 2021 models are going to change, which is going to be a price increase, and this was just an opportunity for us to jump ahead and go ahead and purchase these and save the city some money.
And you'll have them.
When we do this, we'll actually have them in October, where usually if we can't purchase till October, we don't get them till January, February, so we'll be able to go ahead and get these out on the street. We do have some hailing vehicles, if you will.
Okay.
So it'd be a benefit to us as well.
Okay, any questions, more questions? If not, do I hear a motion to approve?
That we approve it.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Like sign opposed. Item number 15 stands approved. Item number 16 is consideration and possible action upon a minor plat on Jacksonville Drive, the Dollar General store. Or
Yes,
near
sir.
there.
Yes, sir. Jimmy Howe with HP Investments has purchased the 2 properties that were for sale at 1914 and 2000 Jacksonville Drive. And they've made an application to join these 2 properties together so they can build a new Dollar General store.
Really?
They'll be relocating from behind McDonald's and Sonic to this location over here. And we've approved the site plan and everything. They've closed on the properties and wish to move forward with construction pending y'all's approval, and staff does recommend approval of this minor plat.
Any more questions? If not, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve that minor plat change.
Second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, like sign. Item number 16 stands approved. Departmental reports, item number 17. Most of these are all on the printed matter. I think everyone's turned those things in. Probably nothing here that y'all want to add. If you do want to add something, now's the time. I'll give you just a few minutes here or a few seconds.
I'll quickly mention a couple things. One, James Pike with DSHS and Rusk County's been sending out daily reports with the COVID stuff, and I'm going to try to start sending those updates. He's putting more and more information on those reports than what it used to be. Detailed stuff, and so I'm going to take those and try to. I know Thursday already gets them as part of that piece, but I'm going to take those and try to start moving them and forward them to council. So you guys have them. So I did that today, this afternoon. So you have the most recent report in your email. So you'll start getting those. So just kind of start looking at that.
And I asked him.
Yes, sir.
Because we haven't had a breakdown the whole time, how many cases are inside the city limits. So I said, I need a number now. 23. Active inside the city limits.
23. And more than active.
And most of the cases have come in the last 2 weeks.
July the 4th.
Yes, the July 4th time frame. So we have 212 cases have been positive in Rusk County, 87 total active cases, 122 recoveries, 3 deaths. There's 6 active cases right now in TDCJ in Rusk County. But like I said, we're at 212 total cases that we've had. Still down kind of midway in East Texas, I guess, compared to a lot. Cherokee County is at 516. Shelby County, 327. So, there's some counties in and around us. Nacogdoches, 743. Smith, 1,907. Gregg, 1,093. It's expected their population's a lot more, but, so in all things considered, we're still doing pretty well, but there's still a whole lot that's going on. Although I think the last 3 days, I think in his email, he said that the state's numbers have come down.
It's starting to
Kind of level off maybe a little
hopefully
bit.
it's plateaued and we're going to start the downward trend again.
So anyway, I'll start pushing that information out so y'all can have that and see that as well. It's good. It's good information. There's a lot more to it. It's got better and better at this stuff. As long as COVID happens, we get better at trying to grab the data out there, the best that we have on it. With that being said, also on the COVID piece, we have a new quick visit urgent care in town. They do have the rapid tests. So we are utilizing those from the city. So we now have an account. So if there's something that we have a positive case, or we think we may have somebody with an employee or whatever that is possibly sick or whatever, we can send them over there, and whatever insurance doesn't take care of, we'll pick up that, the city can pick up that piece for the employees to help us get a better understanding. We're not just sitting out for 3 or 4 or 5 days on that. Yes,
You
sir.
better double check that, because I think my wife was telling me they had something they put out. They're not doing that anymore.
Oh,
Well, they did it as of
yeah.
this morning.
This one, okay, well, she evidently,
I think
Misinterpreted.
I think they have 2 testing machines or whatever. And I think they had one down a couple weeks ago, and it's come back up. And then I think they were out of supplies, tests yesterday. And so, because it's getting utilized pretty hot and heavy with that availability. So that might be somewhat she's seen up and down of the availability of tests and stuff. So for right now, as far as we know, as of this morning, that's still happening. We've utilized it with some employees and some different folks. A lot easier to kind of do that and try to get a test and know kind of where we stand and sit around for 4 or 5 days or better and send somebody home when we're short staffed.
We got an email within 30 minutes.
Really?
No, she's just talking about she's one sitting home because she didn't make right now.
I have good news.
What?
Whenever you're done with COVID, I have good news.
Oh, you save a lot of money. The Geico?
You give me time to get to the good.
No, but we got a final count in. We raised 61 units, which translates roughly to 180 lives that could potentially be saved. So good job to everyone that helped with the blood drive today. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Oh, that was great.
That was pretty good,
Considering where we're.
circumstances.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was still waiting for my picture.
I posted it.
Y'all were supposed to pick on me with a picture.
Well, I didn't post that one. I could.
It's coming.
Just wait for the Christmas
I
slideshow.
already know somebody down the table has it.
Begs the question, how many are there on the show?
They'll pop up at random times.
So by donating blood today, we got some kind of a free COVID test today, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
antibodies.
Antibody test. Yes, we get that. Yes, we do.
And a bandage.
And a band.
And a-
Anyway, I thought that was a plus.
Okay, let me borrow that from you.
I got a ball. We got a ball. Okay, any more
Anything else, the staff, just to
Yeah.
add to your reports? No?
additions?
Good. Okay.
Questions or anybody about that?
Okay, I just want to thank Carissa again because we took another batch of dogs to Heartland in Chicago this weekend.
Thank y'all.
And by we, I drove
Yeah, really.
36 hours turnaround.
Is that all? My God.
No wonder you didn't get any sleep this night. I told y'all, I didn't sleep this weekend.
Who was co-driver?
Well, I had a couple of RCPA.
Oh, okay.
They helped me
Well, I
out.
was
but
gonna say,
They drove the way home. I got there, they took it at rest.
okay.
That's twice in a month that we pulled that off. And we can do it we can do it every other week at this rate. I know where every pothole is between here and Chicago, almost by heart.
Stop on the way, pick up dogs.
Only in Texarkana and further up, I can say you get bad.
Thank y'all for doing that. Y'all saved quite a few.
I had to put the money where the mouth is.
All right, Cheryl. Time to go into executive session. All right, you gonna turn the recorder off? All right,
What time?
6:45.
Okay. You gonna read that?
Yeah.
You can do that and then.
I'm going to. We're going into executive session to consult with city attorney discussing litigations in accordance. Get her?
Can you hear us?
Yes, if you'll turn your video back on.
Hit the blue button.
Where's the keyboard?
Oh, it's the blue button.
That's a long way over there. Hey.
Wow, you guys shrank.
You got it?
All right, we're ready. If you're ready, letting the record.
We're good.
All right, here we go.
All right, we'll adjourn from executive session and go back into regular session here at 6:56 and take no action as a result of the executive session. So at this point in time, with no further business, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Like sign opposed. We stand adjourned at 6:57 PM.
All right.